The Vorthak Collective had ruled the Outer Rim for 3 millennia. Their power built upon a single, unbreakable foundation: the Nexus Core. This quantum-encrypted supercomputer controlled everything from planetary defense grids to trade routes, its impenetrable algorithms protecting the most valuable secrets in known space. For 700 years, the galaxy's most brilliant minds had attempted to breach its defenses. The crystalline-brained Zephyrians, whose thoughts moved at light speed through silicon pathways, had spent decades analyzing every byte. The hive-minded Kelari had thrown the collective processing power of entire worlds at the problem. Even the ancient precursor AIs, with their million-year accumulation of knowledge, had declared the Nexus Core mathematically impossible to crack. The bounty had grown legendary: 10 billion credits and amnesty for any crime to whoever could break the Vorthak encryption. Entire civilizations had bankrupted themselves funding hack attempts. Wars had been fought over fragments of code that might hold the key. Commander Zara Thelen of the Galactic Intelligence Division stared at the latest failure report from the Andromedans, her 4 eyes scanning the technical gibberish with growing frustration. Another year, another brilliant species, another crushing defeat. The Vorthak grew stronger while the free worlds weakened themselves in futile attempts. "Ma'am," her aide, Corporal Vex, approached cautiously. "The human delegation has arrived." Zara's mandibles clicked in irritation. Humans. The newest species to achieve interstellar travel, barely 2 centuries off their primitive homeworld. They'd sent some sort of expert to examine the Nexus Core problem. She'd agreed to the meeting, only as a diplomatic courtesy. The door slid open and Zara nearly fell from her chair. Instead of the grizzled cyber warfare specialist she'd expected, a small human youth entered the room. The creature couldn't be more than 16 standard, years old by human measurements, with unruly brown hair and eyes that seemed to dart everywhere at once. "You must be Commander Thelen," the young human said, extending a hand in the bizarre human greeting ritual. "I'm Marcus Chen. Thanks for letting me take a look at this thing." "You?" Zara struggled to maintain composure. "You're the expert they sent?" Marcus shrugged, pulling out a primitive-looking portable computer that seemed held together with adhesive tape. "I guess. I'm pretty good with computers back home. Won my school's programming contest 3 years running." The aide, Vex, whispered something about human arrogance in his native tongue, but Marcus's head snapped up. "Actually, could you say that again? I'm still learning Vexarian, but I think you just called me arrogant. The tonal structure is fascinating. It's like a musical encryption key." Vex's gill slits fluttered in surprise. Few non-Vexarians could even pronounce their language, let alone understand its subtle meanings. "Anyway," Marcus continued, booting up his ancient laptop, "can I see this famous unbreakable code?" 3 hours later, Zara watched in stunned silence as Marcus worked. He'd dismissed their quantum processors and crystalline matrices, instead pulling up what looked like a child's drawing program on his decrepit machine. He hummed while he worked, actually hummed like some primitive tribal ritual. "See, here's the thing everyone's been missing," Marcus said, pointing at his screen with a stylus that looked like it had been chewed on. "You've all been trying to think like computers, but the Vorthak aren't computers, they're artists." "Artists?" Zara's translator struggled with the human concept. "Yeah, look at this encryption pattern. It's not just mathematical, it's aesthetic. The Vorthak care about beautiful code. They're not just hiding information, they're creating art." Marcus pulled up another window, this one showing swirling patterns of color. "Every species that's tried to crack this has approached it like a logic puzzle. But logic puzzles don't have rhythm." "Rhythm?" "The key changes every 17 seconds, but not randomly. It follows the same pattern as Vorthak ceremonial music. I found recordings in their cultural database. They literally broadcast their religious ceremonies. The encryption key is right there in their hymns." Zara leaned forward, her skepticism warring with desperate hope. That's impossible. 700 years of work by the greatest minds in the galaxy." "Greatest minds thinking like greatest minds," Marcus interrupted, fingers flying over his keyboard with impossible speed. Sometimes you need to think like an idiot teenager who spends too much time on the internet. The room fell silent except for the rapid clicking of keys and Marcus's continued humming. Then, without warning, alarms began blaring throughout the station. "What's happening?" Zara demanded. Marcus looked up with a grin. "Oh, I'm in. The Nexus Core is downloading its entire database to my laptop. Should be done in about 20 minutes. The silence that followed was deafening. Bex dropped his data pad. Zara felt her 4 hearts stop beating simultaneously. You broke it?" she whispered. "Yeah, it wasn't too bad once I figured out they were music lovers. Oh, and I may have accidentally unlocked their entire fleet command system. Is it normal for 2,000 Vorthak dreadnoughts to just stop moving?" Across the galaxy, the Vorthak Collective's iron grip began to crumble as their most closely guarded secrets spilled across the galactic network. Trade routes, military positions, diplomatic communications, everything laid bare by a teenager with a laptop held together with tape. But perhaps the most shocking revelation came when Marcus finished his download and looked up with genuine confusion. "Hey, Commander, why does their database keep calling humans the chaos factor? And what's this about some prophecy regarding the species that thinks with beautiful madness?" Zara stared at the young human, finally understanding why her people's ancient text spoke of a time when order would be undone by blessed insanity. The galaxy's most sophisticated civilizations had failed because they were sophisticated. Sometimes it took a species crazy enough to put music and math together, to see art and algorithms and rhythm and randomness, to accomplish the impossible. "Corporal Vex," she said slowly, "prepare a message to High Command. Tell them the humans aren't just our newest allies, they're our secret weapon. And get me everything we have on their internet culture. If one teenager with outdated equipment can do this, I want to know what happens when we give them proper tools." Marcus looked up from his laptop, which was now somehow wirelessly connected to systems it should never have been able to access. "Proper tools? Nah, this baby's perfect. I've had it since I was 12. Never let me down yet." The age of Vorthak dominance was over. The age of human chaos had begun.